This is Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
The great Kevin Scholla.
Welcome to the Palin Update Radio Magazine for January 2018.
Our charters of liberty, they assert that all political power is inherent in the people.
Thanks for joining us as we broadcast from the Full Battle Rattle Studios, coming to you anytime at mamagrizzlyradio.com and also available at sarahpalin.com. Today, we have a great program planned for you as we start our new monthly magazine format. Happy you're along for the ride with us. You remember her from Saturday Night Live, when it used to be funny. She's survived car rides with Toots as the cat, and she made us all crack up during her Weekend Update appearances. Now this Christian conservative is all about faith and family, and she's unafraid to stand up for the nation that she loves. The one and only Victoria Jackson joins us in just a moment. Plus, we'll see what's happening in Alaska as well as nationally with Sarah Palin News. And a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is on the way from Texas. The Palin Update Radio Magazine on Mama Grizzly Radio is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/FullBattleRattleABQ. She is a very funny and talented woman. I know she made me laugh a lot in the 80s and 90s on Saturday Night Live. And now this awesome American is standing up for God and country, no matter what the backlash may be from the entertainment industry. And right now, it is a pleasure to welcome Victoria Jackson to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Victoria, thank you for joining us.
Kevin, thank you so much for having me. I'm a big fan of Sarah Palin. She influenced my life in many ways, including I have two deer heads hanging on my wall right now, and not a moose. This animal, I don't know what to call it, bigger than a deer hanging on my wall because of her.
Wow. Wow, it's an unidentified, could be a man-bear pig.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know what it is. It might be an elk.
Okay, all right. I'm sure, Palin would see that in a second and identify that. We'll have to get a shot of that on the site.
Yeah, I want to be a survivalist. I just don't like killing animals.
Right, I understand.
But these actually were already dead, so.
Right, you didn't have to do that part. You're a big fan of Sarah Palin. Listen, we are a big fan of you. Saturday Night Live, of course, is where most people know you from, and listen, you made me laugh in the 80s and 90s. I think toward the end of your run there was toward the end of my high school years. And, a friend of mine and two others, we would watch every week. We'd actually get together every Saturday at 11:30 to watch. And, you were right there as one of the big guns and one of the big stars. And, just wanted to tell you that. I mean, a lot of great memories there from you.
Thank you. Good times, good times.
I mean, not many people can say they've survived, multiple drives with Toots as the cat, right? And
survived what?
Multiple drives with Toonses.
Oh, exactly.
And, you were a Weekend Update, your appearances with Dennis Miller on Weekend Update. I mean, you just stole the show every time.
Did I?
I think so.
That was my goal.
Do you have a favorite memory? Is there something that you look back at or a sketch that maybe people don't even remember that stands out to you?
Well, my favorite one was when I sang I'm Not a Bimbo, because I had such a hard time coming up with ideas, and we had to kind of write our own material. And I wasn't really trained to do that. And I did write my stand-up I did on Johnny Carson, so I guess Lorne Michaels thought I could write. But I'd never written a sketch before, and I'd never actually seen the show Saturday Night Live because I grew up with no TV.
That's probably why you were so good at it. I mean, you went in there with no preconceived thoughts or, copying anybody or just going in and being Victoria, right?
Well, I mean, it was probably good and bad. I'm sorry you're going to hear beeping noises, but we have our GPS on it right now. We're trying to find a church we've never been to.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
We are okay with that. You know, we've had dogs barking on this show and kids crying, and you know what? Navigation systems, we're pro for them too. You know, just make sure you turn right a lot. Let's not be turning left.
Yes, we're not going to make any left turns, only right.
This is what we want to hear. And you know, I tell you, there were some more obscure sketches that you did, and I just thought were great. You know, as a Chicago Bears fan, I remember you in the Mike Ditka Type A Christmas special where you played Ditka's daughter, and Phil Hartman was Ditka, and I mean, it was Mike Myers was the son, and just hysterical stuff. I've shown this stuff to my kids because there's really nothing that funny on right now for children to watch, that, you know, to laugh at and that they could actually see. And I've shown them this stuff and they're just, you know, they crack up. They think it's great.
Oh, good. I don't remember the Ditka sketch, but it must have happened. It was kind of long ago.
It happened.
Did it? I was there 86 to 92. So
yeah.
That's quite a while ago.
Yeah, it happened. It was, you know, either early 90s or, you know, you cried when Ditka ruined the whole Christmas show by giving everyone a football or something along those lines. But
are you sure what's the other blonde? Well, we'll have to research that. For the SNL experts, it might have been a different blonde.
I'm pretty sure it was Victoria Jackson, but we'll check it out. So now tell me, you had the 40th anniversary that Sarah Palin was at actually as well. And, you know, what's the deal with SNL now? I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm a conservative. I voted and support Donald Trump and, you know, obviously Sarah Palin. But that never stopped me laughing before at things that are actually funny. And you know, SNL used to poke fun at whoever the president was. But now it seems like it's just a political program exclusively. It doesn't seem to have those, you know, funny bits that it used to have.
Yes, they're way too biased, and they're trying to push the progressive agenda instead of trying to be funny. Somewhere they went off the rails back around, I don't know when. I guess when I left, the whole show fell apart.
Well, that's what it is. You were the glue, right? You know what else I noticed, Victoria? And tell me, I mean, obviously you've been, you know, not shy at all about your faith and your politics, and you know that's why we love you. But you know, I also look at the SNL cast around your time, or a little bit before, or a little bit after that whole crew. And not to say these are all a bunch of conservatives. They're not. I mean, you got a bunch of liberals, too, the Nora Dunns of the world. The list goes on and on. But you see guys like John Lovitz, Dennis Miller, obviously, who had a somewhat conservative show for quite a while. Rob Schneider has spoken out against liberals. Adam Sandler's been pretty common sense. You know, what is it that... And you guys were much funnier. I mean, and so that struck me. You know, you have these group of people who aren't scared to stand up to say what might not be the Hollywood or entertainment norms, and now you have a bunch of people who just, you know, fall in line, and they're not as funny as you guys were.
Thank you. Maybe we were more intelligent.
So listen, I don't want to, you know, I'm not saying you're losing your memory, but I just looked it up, and you are in that Mike Ditka Type A Christmas special with, you know, Hartman. Santa Claus is John Goodman. It's Hartman as Ditka, and you got Nora Dunn as the wife, and you and Mike Myers are the kids.
Wow! A sketch I completely forgot.
Season 15, 1989. So you see that, Victoria? You were in sketches that people like me remember that you don't even remember. That's how funny you were.
Well, I have to say, I never heard of Ditka, and I don't know anything about football because my dad was a gymnastics coach, and he brainwashed me from the time I was born that football was stupid and gymnastics was great. And he never watched one football game my whole childhood. So I guess that didn't stand out in my mind for that reason, I guess.
Well, it's funny you say that right now in the way you put it, because the NFL has been my favorite for 30 some odd years, and I haven't watched in 3 or 4 months because of the whole flag deal and the whole kneeling during the anthem. And you know what? We found a lot better things to do. I don't miss it one bit. And funny enough, guess what me and my daughter watched a few days ago? Florida against Oklahoma in gymnastics, and loved every minute of it.
Oh, what a good dad you are.
So,
Watching, with your daughter, something that's not immoral.
and the Gators won. They beat the number one team in this, so it was pretty cool. It was the first time I ever watched gymnastics that was not Olympics, and I was surprised that they fill the place and have cheerleaders and come out like it's a basketball game. It's credit to the Florida fans, but it was really neat. Let me ask you now. You, like I said, you've not been shy about your politics, about your faith. First of all, how is that? Have you suffered any backlash? I mean, what's been the response from old SNL mates or people in Hollywood? Have you felt that? Because we've talked to people on here many, many times about those in Hollywood who aren't afraid to speak out, and it seems all the time they, all of a sudden are looked at like they're the crazy ones.
I have gotten blacklisted. I have lost agents. I have gotten uninvited to speak at a cancer survival conference. I mean, the weirdest stuff has happened just because I don't agree with the liberal media. And, Trump won. So I'm not the only one. And it's ridiculous. And I just wrote an article. I was asked by the Friars Club to do my act for them. And I thought, I think that's supposed to be an honor. And so I was thinking about doing it, but then they canceled about the same day that an article I posted on WorldNet Daily where I was commenting on the fact that Julia Louis-Dreyfus used her breast cancer announcement as a platform to talk about universal health care. And she used the what did she win? An Emmy. She used the Emmys as a platform to diss Trump. And she keeps getting sitcoms and awards. We were both on SNL. We're both funny, but I believe the opposite of her. And so I get blacklisted, and she keeps getting awards. I don't want to sound like a victim, like a Democrat, but I had to point it out because if everybody would point out when they're blacklisted, we can prove that it's true. But if people keep quiet, like with the Me Too thing, I am not speaking out about things men have done to me. I don't really. I'm not doing that, but I guess that's why they're doing it. It's like it'll never get solved if everyone keeps secrets, right? So that's why I kind of tell everyone whenever I'm blacklisted.
Now, how have you been able to stand up to the discrimination of those who are conservative? Because I've been told so many times that there are people in entertainment, and not just the performers, but obviously the camera people and anybody that's working in Hollywood or in New York or wherever it may be, that they just keep quiet. They say, you know what? I'm never going to work if I say anything. We've seen people destroyed who do, so let me keep quiet. But then you have the Victoria Jacksons of the world who say, no, wait a minute. Talking about God, talking about my country, that's more important than any job I could ever have. Is that where you're thinking on that?
Well, let me tell you. Number one, I was raised in a Baptist church, and I asked Jesus into my heart when I was 6 years old. I totally understood the gospel. Jesus died for my sins, was buried, rose from the dead, so I could have eternal life. John 3:16. I totally got that when I was 6, even though I could only think of 2 sins that I'd done. But I got the concept. And I was taught from the Bible from a young age that I would be persecuted for loving Jesus, because they persecuted Jesus, and if you follow him, you will be persecuted. Luckily, I lived in America, so it wasn't physical persecution like people in the Middle East are experiencing right now. But it would be, maybe losing jobs or being called names on the internet. As far as politics, are you there, Kevin?
Yeah, we're good.
Can you hear me even though I'm in a car and it's raining?
I hear you. I don't hear the rain.
Oh, cool. Okay, so...
But you're painting the word picture for it. See, this is good for radio.
Oh, good. Okay, so as far as politics, I was never political. So when I got on Saturday Night Live, I was a Christian, but I wasn't I didn't know anything about politics. My father never talked about it. He just said we should vote Republican because they were closer to the Bible than the Democrats. And then as the years went by, they got more and more far away from God until in 2012, they voted God out of their platform. I was actually a journalist at the DNC covering that story. And I couldn't believe that not only are they for abortion and same-sex marriage and things that are, the Bible is against, but they're actually voting God out of their platforms. Like, how much more could you spit in God's face? So, long story short, I did not experience blacklisting in my 20s. When I started my career, got on SNL, did some movies, etc. I had a political awakening because I kind of gave up my career to marry my high school sweetheart. And I moved to Miami where he had his dream job. One of us had to give up our dream jobs. And so I was just a mom. So one reason I could become political was because I had the luxury of having a husband with a job. If I was a single mom and I had to, lean on my salary to feed my kids, I would have kept my mouth shut. In 2007, when Obama, the communist, came on the scene, but I had the luxury of being taken care of by a husband with a job. So my awakening started when Clinton said on TV, "It depends what the meaning of the word is." And I did a double take, and I looked at my husband, because he was a poli-sci major, and he was always following the news, but I wasn't. It was boring. And I did a double take. I said, "Why do you watch that Fox News all the time? What is that Fox News?" And I did a double take, and I looked at him, and I was like, "I've got to get involved. This country's going in the toilet. These people are idiots." So that kind of sparked my interest, like, hey, stay-at-home moms should get involved because, if the president can't even tell the truth about adultery, what's going on here? So I started to get a little interested, but my real awakening was in 2007. I moved back to LA because my kids were grown to start my career again as a 40-something-year-old woman. I knew it would be difficult, maybe impossible, but I started again from nothing, tried to find an agent, was looking for some auditions, and my friend said, go to this secret underground group of conservatives in show business. And I said, I'm not political. He goes, well, maybe you'll have like-minded friends and they can give you an audition or something. So that's how I stumbled into this group, and they taught me so much. They told me what books to read, Trevor Loudon, Dinesh D'Souza, what's that other guy? Paul Kengor. They told me what movies to watch, and I got then I had to drive my daughter to high school in LA, and I had 4 hours a day I was on the road. And it was around 2008, and I immersed myself in car radio shows, and Glenn Beck, and Monica, and Laura Ingraham, and Rush Limbaugh, and I started to learn. And I said, wow, we got to save America. And so that's my story.
Well, Victoria, and it's appreciated because, this is why Donald Trump got elected. I want to, push back at you a little, you saying just a housewife before or a stay-at-home mom is what you said. To me, that's the most important job we have going, especially, with you've seen what's happening now with our youth. Such great signs out of Washington earlier this month with the March for Life. It seems the people that are pro-life are younger and younger. So, that means that stay-at-home moms like yourself have taught this next generation quite well.
Thank you. My daughters are grown-ups now, and they totally understand what's happening with our country. They know how to read, tell what article is biased. They can detect a lie. They get it. And I'm very proud of the Tea Party for changing this big ship that was going the wrong direction. I'm so proud of my friends who are at rallies because conservatives are shy and we don't like to hold up signs and we don't like to make a fool out of ourselves. And we did it anyway, and I'm so proud of them.
Well, you mentioned the Tea Party. You mentioned changing America, and obviously one of the catalysts all along has been Governor Sarah Palin. You said you like her, you support her. What are your thoughts on the governor overall, and why do you like Governor Palin?
Well, I love her boldness, her grace. I love her faith in Jesus. I love her class. I agree with her on, all the issues. And then I have a magnet of her on my refrigerator and still. And the way they attacked her just proves that she was a powerful mover and shaker for our cause. They attacked her like, oh my goodness, like they're attacking Trump,
Yeah, that's a great point. I've talked about this before. It almost makes you want to support someone more, and when you see liberals going after someone with such fervor, you start to realize, well, wait a minute, this person must be really good if they're after them that badly.
Yes, that's true.
And you named the two top dogs in that, Palin and now President Trump. How about candidate Trump? I mean, I was on board from the beginning, and I also, once Governor Palin endorsed him in January of the election year, we were full bore with the signs and the stickers and the whole thing and the campaigning. But I found talk about a guy attacked from all sides. At least Governor Palin had the right on her side. I mean, you even had the right going after then candidate Trump saying, oh, he's not pro-life, as if they know his heart, or oh, he's not a Christian, as if they know. And now here he is doing things on a conservative level in his first year in office, so much so that the Heritage Foundation, super conservative group, came out the other day and said, heck, for his first year, he may be more conservative than Ronald Reagan in his first year as far as policy moves.
Well, I have to tell you, I was very skeptical of him at first because he's been a Democrat his whole life. Mm-hmm. He gave lots of money to Hillary Clinton, and I really don't trust somebody who would say, oh, no, I'm a Republican after living their whole life like that. So I was very skeptical of him. I was supporting Ted Cruz because he had, very strong Christian values. And, of course, there's some people who say it doesn't matter who you support. Both parties are the same and the Illuminati's controlling everything. But that's something I research alone at home because I have a lot of time in between my movie roles, For real. But
I could just see you there, Victoria, with the magazines stacked up and, typing away. Look like Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory.
Well, it's a conspiracy until you prove it to true, and then it's a fact.
Well, hey, listen.
I'm open. I'm open to all ideas. I research, I read, and I'm open. I base everything on the Bible, which is God's Word. But I'm very, very proud of Trump, what he's doing. He's a capitalist. I wrote a song about it called There's a Capitalist Living in the White House. The day that he was inaugurated, I was so excited. I mean, he's going to bring back the coal industry, and he's going to take all of the, what do you call those restrictions that ruin all the small businesses? Regulations. He's going to get rid of that. I was so excited. So, on YouTube, it's called There's a Capitalist Living in the White House.
I just love the fact, and this is something I know very important to you and to me and to Governor Palin, and that's the whole fight for life. And to have Mike Pence address the March for Life last year, and to have President Trump address them this year when a sitting president and VP have never done that before, and then all the other issues that have happened so far. So despite, and again, he's still getting pushback from the Paul Ryans and Mitch McConnells and John McCain's of the world. So when a lot of people are coming at you, it's not so easy. But you mentioned, I mean, you've experienced this thing and you're living by God's word and you're trying to do your best, and, who can hurt you, right? If God's on your side, right?
That's right. We're supposed to only worry about what God thinks. Let's see, what's the verse that says that? What's that verse called? What shall I fear? What man should do? Anyway, it's about that we should only care about what God thinks, not what man thinks of us.
Exactly. And, it's something that we were missing for quite a while, right? Especially in the White House through the 8 years of Barack Obama.
Yeah, you know what kills me about the media is that they won't give an honest debate on climate change or on Obama's communist past. They won't have an honest, fact-filled debate between two loving, calm people. It's like that's the way you learn. That's the way you find truth. It's just they want to cover up truth and make up lies. And it's so obvious to me. I just hope we can teach our next generation how to learn and how to think.
You think in Psalm 118:6, the Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do?
There you go.
Is that the one?
The
Okay.
one.
All right. That's
one of them.
That's okay.
There's
a few. That's right.
If God be for us, who can be against us? That's one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, and the words are so powerful, and when you really actually think about how it's come into your life on a personal level. You said you wanted to get back into it, and you're back into it. What a new big project for you now, right? Tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, I want to get back into comedy. I had a long talk with the Lord, and I said, God, I'm not good in politics. My voice makes people think I'm doing an Andy Kaufman. I would really much rather be an airhead on a sitcom than try to give speeches at town halls. And I ran for office, and I didn't win, so I thought that was a sign. And so God answered my prayer, and he gave me a couple roles. Right now on pureflix.com, they have a new sitcom called Malibu Dan Family Man, and I play the mother-in-law. And so it's good, clean comedy for the whole family to watch.
That is great. And how far into the series is it?
We've done 4 episodes, and I'm waiting to hear if we're going to do more. And I still do stand-up comedy. I still sing ukulele songs around Nashville, where it's my new home because my kids live here, and I followed them here. And my grandchildren. My granddaughter auditioned for The Little Mermaid today, and we think she got the lead role.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Very excited.
That is so great because I get that personally, too. My daughter, who's super athlete and Renaissance woman, I mean, football, basketball, softball, swimming, cheerleading, volleyball, the list goes on. And I coach her in football and basketball and softball, but she tried out for a play this past holiday season and a Christmas play, Arrest These Merry Gentlemen. And it was her first time ever, and she made it, and she got a speaking role, and she was awesome, and now she's going out for another one. And it's so cool as a dad because, when I'm her coach, I'm right there in the thick of it. I'm also worrying about all the other kids, but here I could just sit back and be like, yeah, that's her.
Yeah, I like being a stage mother. That's way more fun than being the one who gets all nervous.
Yeah, well, you see that firsthand, like when you coach a team and then they go play another sport, like now they're in hockey, which I don't coach, so I just go and watch as a dad and as a fan, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I said to the other parents, you drink things and talk? I mean, I'm usually yelling at 35 of them, so, it's good stuff. Tell everybody where they can find out more about what Victoria Jackson's doing. You have a website?
VictoriaJackson.com, and thank you for having me. I'm so happy for what you're doing, keeping the truth out there on the airwaves.
Well, I hope you know how popular and loved you are, and it's not just it's SNL, obviously, and I can tell you I have a lot of SNL friends who are of every political stripe, and everybody loved Victoria Jackson, and everybody can talk about all your old sketches and this and that. But then I have a lot of conservative friends who love what you've done politically because it doesn't go unnoticed that it's not easy what you've done in your position because people could just say, oh, well, she's done. I mean, you see what happens. Someone can just tweet Donald Trump is not the devil, and they'll be attacked for that. So for you to speak out how you have against common sense, for common sense and for pro-conservative issues, it's appreciated, Victoria. We hope you keep that going, even if you are playing a silly character on TV.
Thank you so much for saying that. I was feeling a little bit bad yesterday because I stumbled on a wonket.com, and they were making fun of me, and I got a twinge, and I thought, well, was I doing the right thing? It was my last article on WorldNet Daily where I actually titled it, I Quit Politics, Why I Quit Politics. And just writing the article made me sort of back in politics because Wonket wants to attack me again. But why was I mumbling about that? Oh, I wanted to tell you, one of the reasons I was writing it, besides calling out Louis Dreyfus thing, was I have a new book I wrote, and it's called Lavender Hair, and it's about my breast cancer journey.
And that's available. That's available where?
Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Christian book. It's devotions, it's comedy and Bible verses that helped me through my year of breast cancer treatment, and I'm all healed, praise the Lord.
And you're okay now, right? All the way, right?
Yeah, I'm all healed. It can always come back. So, But I'm feeling fantastic, and I'm so grateful. And I kept a little journal about it because it was like instead of just memorizing Bible verses and reading them, I actually had to live them, and it was kind of a test of my faith to see if this Jesus thing really is real. And what I found out was it's really real. Jesus is real.
Yeah, isn't that the thing? Isn't that when he really shows you that? When he doesn't give you things you can't handle, and that's amazing. Well, we're gonna pray for you a little extra on that end, and I tell you what, don't let Wonket bother you. I mean, you know the drill there. I mean, they look at people's politics and then pretend that they don't like them or say they're not talented or whatever. But then if you changed your politics, they'd say, she's the funniest one going. You know how that works.
Oh, yeah. Wikipedia, I had a big fight with them about 2 weeks ago. They had twisted words that Weird Al Yankovic said to try to make it sound like he hated me because I was a homophobic bigot, right-wing extremist. I mean, Wikipedia, in my first paragraph, said I was a right-wing activist. I'm like,
I saw your tweets on that, and right, and then also the subtle ways too is where they really get away with things, like saying things like failed bit parts, like things like that, trying to belittle what you've done. Meantime, if you were a champion of the left, they would put you up there on the top of the list.
Yeah, it's very biased, and I got the sweetest comments on Facebook from my conservative friends. They're like, "Hey, you're being persecuted, praise the Lord." So it's all okay. I didn't even know there was a thing called Conservapedia, so we should all frequent Conservapedia.
Yeah, I know. It'll be factual and actually tell you the truth. I don't know. Heads would explode. Heads would explode.
Exit 53A. Okay, we better hang up soon because we're going to this new church because my husband has to work tomorrow.
Hey, you made it. Look, good driver, great navigation system, awesome interview. Victoria, we appreciate you coming on with us. You're welcome here anytime. You get in touch with next time you tell us you're coming on and we got you.
Kevin, you're a sweetheart, and thank you very much.
For more on the Victoria Jackson, please check out victoriajackson.com. What a super guest to kick off 2018. Now it's time for Sarah Palin News, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. Texas will be Palin country in February. Governor Palin will deliver an address at the Denton County Republican Lincoln Reagan dinner. Mama Grizzly Radio's Tamara Colbert will also be there. A great event for Grizzlies. It should be amazing. Sarah Palin responds after Amazon markets baby attire that reads, "Slavery gets S done." And it's not S, it's the S word. Palin wasn't having it, saying, quote, "Amazon, a nauseating vendor, Surely you're not this desperate for dough. Why even go there with this divisive, crude, 100% wrong garbage? Good Lord, this is the picture of the love of money is the root of all evil. Like previous Walmart vendors marketing their shameful mugs to mock those with special needs, I defend your right to exercise constitutionally protected freedoms to say and sell what's in your heart and warehouse. But is it too much to expect that decency accompany hard-fought freedom? It seems a decent corporate culture would embrace the right to not choose from a vendor these particular baby items that have no cultural, community, nor ultimately, after public outcry, economic value. You prove common sense is becoming an endangered species, unquote. A happy new year from Alaska. A very special happy birthday for one Palin family member who turned 101. Palin has to tell one dude that Alaska's part of the U.S. He didn't know. And Sarah Palin features my piece on better things to do instead of watching the unpatriotic NFL. That story is available at sarahpalin.com. And Governor Palin also showcases my Breitbart story on ESPN's ridiculous and shoddy treatment of President Trump during the national title football game between Alabama and Georgia. Thank you very much, Governor. To read all about these stories, you can visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety and to read her devotionals, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA. Check out her Instagram at Sarah Palin 97. And, of course, be sure to visit sarahpalin.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Amnesty to almost 2 million illegal aliens. Are you kidding me? This is ludicrous. I reject the premise that just because someone from another country wants to come to America, that it gives them some inherent right to becoming a citizen without earning it. My twins are now Taekwondo black belts, and they earned it. Almost 4 years of sweat equity. They earned every single pattern, every sparring match, every lump, every bump, every first and second and third place trophy, and they earned the right to wear their first degree Taekwondo black belt. They didn't walk into their first class and demand from their instructor they want a black belt. Week after week, it was honor, integrity, victory of earn, don't ask. Well, that's my stance on illegal immigration. Earn, don't ask. That means self-deport. Have the respect. Leave the country. Earn the right to become an American citizen like everyone else does. Earn the opportunity to get a green card like everyone else does. I understand. And I'm completely sympathetic of the allure of living in a place and dreaming about being free like you can be in America to make your destiny and dreams a reality. I know this because I have worked in over 70 countries in this world. And you know what? There is none as great as America. But if you cross the border illegally, you have immediately forfeited the right to anything. You should get nothing. As an illegal, you do not have rights in America. At least I think you shouldn't, but not if you ask a Democrat. What irks me is that instead of being appreciative and thankful that at least America is trying to review our immigration system, illegals are indignant, staging sit-ins at our nation's capital, going into congressional offices and disrupting the workday. Those legislators work for me and you, the American taxpayer. If I ran Congress, I might have considered having the ICE buses give those folks a one-way ticket to the country of their origin. It is time for America first, Mr. President. Citizenship in the greatest country the world has ever known is a privilege. We don't grant it to people because they think they deserve it. You deserve nothing. Earn, don't ask. Sorry, dreamers, but what have you done for the United States? I believe in the American dream. I live it every day. A dream every day to achieve, to work, and earn my own success. I want all Americans to dream big and have their dreams too. I certainly don't want to allow ungrateful, lazy haters into my country who think they deserve anything from America but a swift kick in the pants. And if some illegal's calling me a racist or a bigot or whatever, roll up the ICE buses and give them a one-way ticket back to their country. Hashtag build the wall, Mr. President. What is very important and no one is talking about is that becoming an American requires allegiance. Allegiance. Most young people, most American citizens don't understand allegiance today. But allegiance to promoting and defending the right of the individual to be self-governing, self-reliant, and patriotic. Being an American means being a champion for the American way, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whatever you believe that to be. I am more than tired of the Democrats trying to call me a racist, a bigot, whatever, because I want my kids to get into the best schools first, because I want my children and my grandchildren to be the priority. It is time to make the Democrat Party the Dino Party. And I don't mean Democrats in name only. I mean it's time to make the Democrat Party extinct. Personally, I want to follow the laws we have on the books and actually enforce our immigration laws as we have them today. The problem isn't we need new immigration laws. The problem is we need to enforce the laws we have. Oh, my goodness. Why can't we have the best and the brightest immigrants, the best and the brightest the world has to offer, instead of the dregs of a society? If Mr. Trump gives amnesty to these dreamers before a wall is built, he may not make it to a 2020 re-election. Trump has tweeted that he was using this increased DACA deal to expose the Democrats and show how much they don't really want a deal. They only want votes. They only want to obstruct. They only want to revolt. They only want to be haters. The Democrats are desperate. They are hanging on to their tiny bit of power by a sheer thread. And every day of news by real investigative journalists gets us one step closer to putting many members of the former Obama administration in jail. Dems, they've been pushing for years to open the floodgates and give every illegal more rights than the United States citizen. The Democrats are throwing Americans under the bus every day just to gain the favor of other classes of citizens, of other minority votes. According to Pew Research, the U.S. civilian workforce includes 8 million illegals. Imagine if those jobs were given to Americans. I wonder what our economy today would look like. It is time for conservatives to rise and make sure we let the president and Congress hear our voices loud and clear. We must not be silent because this is our country. We, the people, must make it clear that America is precious, good, and a pearl of great price. That price is built on the promise of the American dream. That price of being an American means you have an attitude of gratitude for living in the most prosperous, generous, and freest nation the world has ever seen. The price of being an American is sacrifice for others, thinking of what you can do for the Republic, not what the Republic can do for you. It's time to be tough. I expect President Trump to be extra tough on immigration. I don't want to turn America into Mexico, Syria, Norway, or Canada, or any other country. I want America to be free. I want us to end chain migration, curb the flow of immigration, put Americans back to work, elevate the American citizen. The price of being an American citizen is eternal vigilance. That's what our founders said. Now is the time for us to be on guard and ever vigilant. We must set a high bar, high standards for those we allow to come into our country, and those same high standards for our children, for our education system, and demonstrate to the rest of the world you must be the best and brightest to come here and take advantage of the American way of life. It is time for us to raise our voices. Let's reach higher. Let's help others understand the price of vigilance, the price of being an American, and of course, how precious America truly is. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio. Have a blessed week. You can tweet me at Tamara Colbert, #MamaGrizzRadio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more liberty and legacy on the next edition of the Palin Update. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. You can also tune in at sarahpalin.com. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update Radio Magazine on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at FBRABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I'm also contributing at SarahPalin.com. So honored to be working on the governor's incredible site. I want to thank Tamara Colbert and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Victoria Jackson, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit Facebook.com/Full Battle Rattle ABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update Radio Magazine on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day and Happy New Year.